All right, welcome to the Ringer Gambling Show, Wednesday edition. Cousin Sal here. Joe House is here. Anthony Dabbundo, a.k.a. Tony Tokens, is with us. What a show we have for you today. We have Thursday night football picks. We have Wednesday basketball action, hump day headlines. But first things first, Dabbundo, congratulations are in order to our Ringer 107 team. We go against all the other shows here, and we are coming off a 5-0 week in the NFL.
Great job by us.
Wow.
How dare you?
Wow. House, well, go ahead, House. What do you
change
have
the odds?
to say?
You just give yourself wins where you feel like it? If
No,
we're doing that,
5-0.
then I'm giving myself a win for the Eagles debacle.
I don't know what you're talking about. The
they-
graphic
Are you
says
saying that the
5-0.
Ringer people that put out the graphic were not correct? Because I think that is the official arbiter of truth in this world.
Right, exactly. That's it.
Oh, yes,
What are
the
you gonna
social
do?
media team for the Ringer, definitely.
All right, so
arbiter.
what?
Independent
let me-
arbiter. They don't have a
I'll-
stake in the game. They just say what really happened, and then we go with it for the week.
Let me bring everyone up to speed. We on the graphic it says we went 5-0. We did in fact go 4-1. I don't want to get anyone fired here, but I do want to be honest, Dabbundo, because we want to take down this title, albeit 10 games under 500, whatever it ends up being after week 18 or week 23, whatever it's going. So we were 4-1. Hopefully we'll get that adjusted. But what are you gonna do? We'll take that, Dabbundo. 4-1.
Well, that means we're due for another bad week now. We've
1
been
and 4.
alternating.
Yeah.
We went 4-1, then we went 1-4, then we went 1-4, then we went 4-1. So if you average that out, exactly 500, which is actually better than our season-long record. So look, we're getting there. We're getting there. I still think somebody's going to make a run, but we're running out of time for somebody to make a run if this is going to happen and somebody's going to actually have a winning record in this silly
Hey, if we have an
competition we've
insider cheating for us, that makes things a lot easier. I'll say that. Yes, the Bills did not cover, House. You're right. I keep looking at it. They were laying 5.5. They only won by 5. I keep refreshing, but that game has been over for days. So, hey,
The Ringer Gambling Show is presented by FanDuel. FanDuel's got it all. Same game parlays, quick bets for jumping in live, and your way so you can build the bet that fits your parlay. Plus, don't miss out on holiday offers and surprises all month long. Download the FanDuel app or head to FanDuel.com/gamblers to get started. 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
you know what's over? The Colts season, Dabbundo. I'm sorry to say. Go
What do you
ahead,
mean?
Jump in. It's over. You just signed. Let's do the hump day headlines right now. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers has signed a deal with the Indy Colts. There's a good chance we see him this Sunday in Seattle as Riley Leonard battling a knee injury. Anthony Richardson still not cleared for an orbital fracture, not activated. Brett Rippon, I think, is the only other option, it seems. I will say this, guys, over under 377.5 jokes related to Rivers doing this so he could get away from his dozen kids between now and Sunday. You can count that as one of them, House. You go over or under for that.
Would he be the first grandfather to ever start an NFL game?
They said third. Somebody posted this. Brett Favre, I think, was a grandfather. And I don't
That
know
checks
who else.
out.
There was
That certainly makes sense.
There were two others, too.
Yeah.
Satchel Paige? I'm not sure. No, now we're talking baseball. I have no idea. The
Wait,
Bundo,
what did you ask me over under what?
Well, how many the River? He's got to get away from his family thing. Of course he's playing. I've heard it a million times. I think we hear another 378 more between now and Sunday. What do you think?
Yeah, over. It's an over. Lock.
Yeah.
Brian Curtis calls it the overused Twitter joke of the week. I think that
Right.
might be the
There we
early
go.
front runner for this week.
No doubt about it. And yet I'm going to hit it myself about 7 or 8 times. Bundo, what do you think of this? I mean, this is very sad what's happened to your season.
It is very sad, Sal. I mean, I think, and I wrote a piece for The Ringer. I got to plug it since everybody is dying to read my thoughts on the Phillip Rivers situation. It's up now on the website. But ultimately, this is a real sad situation because, and I said this on the Monday show, we finally got our general manager to push some chips in and really make a run at this season. For the first time since really Andrew Luck retired, it felt like there could be something special brewing in Indianapolis. And then ever since that trade, we've been just cursed beyond belief. Gardner goes out. Now Mooney Ward has his third concussion. I think he might retire. Like that's how serious it is. He's been contemplating it, and he's had so many concussions that he has to think about his long-term health. Then Daniel Jones breaks his leg, tears his Achilles, and we're sitting here in a situation where I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, how can I be upset about bringing in Phil Rivers? You're telling me Riley Leonard and Brett Rippon and some other schmo who doesn't know the offense is going to come in and fix this situation? At least Rivers knows the offense. At least he has a good relationship with the coach. Can he throw footballs? That remains to be seen. But at least I'm going to have some nostalgia, some hope, some feeling that maybe it could work. But I mean,
all right. Yeah, I'm worried now. Dabbundo used the S word after we just had a whole conversation about swearing on this. He called him a schmo. I don't know. Stefan, can we get that taken out? I'm not sure. I think we're live, so it's going to be tough. Here's what got me crazy here, House. He gets to wear, you know what number he's wearing? Did you see this? Number 17. Daniel Jones's number. They gave it to him, and I guess they can.
As they
because
should.
Jones is on IR. I mean, they don't need to retire the number, but talk about the Achilles not even being cold yet. What the hell, House?
Was that his number? Was that Rivers' number in the previous iteration?
I mean,
it's just
that would have been an extra FU if it wasn't.
Well, you want him comfortable. I don't have any problem with that. That's fine. Yeah.
Really? Like Daniel Jones, it's not enough misery? Like, who had to break this news to Daniel Jones? Like, oh, guess what? You're going to look up and see the number 17. It's not going to be you this week. I don't know. Dabbundo, you like that?
I do. I mean, well, if you're doing a hierarchy thing,
yeah.
Phil Rivers has played more games for the Colts than Daniel Jones. Phil Rivers is a borderline Hall of Famer. No disrespect to Daniel Jones. We appreciate everything he did for our franchise this year, but he doesn't have that kind of cachet. So
it's just
I'm not even sure he's a Colt next year.
Of how bad things went is what I think. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Let's move on to maybe even worse quarterback situations. Hey, Eagles. Nick Sirianni says the benching of Hurts, the idea of that is ridiculous. He said quarterback Jalen Hurts is absolutely a starter for Sunday's game against the Raiders and called it ridiculous when asked about the possibility of making a change at some point in the season if Hurts continues to struggle. And I say it's not ridiculous. I think I put the odds that he's benched against the Raiders at some point at plus 160. House. You say he keeps going, or is this a possibility?
I mean, you certainly wouldn't pick the Raiders game to bench him. He'd have to be like really deplorable. He'd have to be this is in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, yes. No, I think if it's 10-7 at half, you don't think they consider it there?
No.
I mean, that's really.
I don't think
chance.
so either. I don't.
This is the Super Bowl MVP.
I get it.
He's signed to a massive contract.
Mm-hmm.
They've had no losing season since he became the quarterback. I understand, and like I have my problems with Jalen Hurts too, but that would be a massive, massive statement to make to bring in an unproven backup, and you're kind of ruining the relationship with the quarterback forever if you do this.
He's making some massive statements on the field, I would say, though. And like the whole X would have been better if they just spiked it into the turf every attempt thing is part of my, sorry, that's our policy, you're out manifesto. Like, how many of these can we do? I'm not saying Tanner McKee should take Jalen Hurts' number, but I think we're close, guys. I mean, just to shake it up. I'm not saying, I don't know, really. This is out of the question.
Just to shake it up, I mean, the A.J. Brown... short-armed, long-armed, didn't run through, couldn't fight for end zone balls. Like, for a guy that's got a big mouth and a lot of problems, it would be good for him to show up, when you have an important playoff determining game like this. And at least one of those interceptions was just an A.J. Brown. They really ought to give interceptions to receivers. I think it's nonsensical that the quarterbacks, on tip balls, get the interception.
Yeah, I think also, running backs are credited for fumbles when a guy comes out like a lightning bolt and just punches it out from behind. Not really your fault, but yes, you're right, House. If it hits you square in the numbers, bounces off your helmet and then into a D-back's hands, you get nothing. You get nothing. You get praise, actually, in this league. I'm with you. I know. But I also saw, I thought he could have had like 5 or 6 interceptions on Monday. And it's not just this game, but we'll see. All right, now my misery here. Another hump day headline. Edwin Diaz, the Mets everything closer, is now a Los Angeles Dodger. And I'm stuck here. Are you crying, House? What are you doing? Oh, you're blowing your nose. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my flu game.
I'm stuck here as a Mets fan. Like, I don't know, paying $69 million to a closer is sort of preposterous, but I get that no one's feeling bad for the top payroll in sports losing out on a player, but this is pretty depressing, Dabbundo. How am I supposed to feel? Talk me off the ledge here. I know, he had his own song and everything. How could he leave?
I am loving
that.
Is he going to take that to LA?
I think so. Why
That
not?
would be a funny lawsuit. Yeah, no. This is our song.
I mean,
even though
well,
it's not our song.
Duran, he took his from Minnesota to Philly, so he was able to keep it. And then the Twins fans got like salty about it because the Phillies like took it, and then it got all this national publicity because Philly's a much bigger market, and everybody was like, the Twins fans were like, "What about us?" So I'm enjoying this personally. A bigger man, a better man would not want to gloat, Sal. But
Yeah,
again, like you said, you guys have this massive payroll, and I think the fascinating thing about it is that Steve Cohen came in, and the idea was that the Mets are going to turn into this elite organization who does all this great player development, and they're going to compete at the top every year. And yeah, they had that one run where they made the NLCS.
That was it. 2 years ago. That was
that's
fun.
it. That's it.
I know it sucks. I just wonder where it stops with this. You know, like like if you hate a team, and I guess the Dodgers hate the Mets or whatever, the Dodgers hate anybody having good players or good anything. Could you start signing like if they offered Keith Hernandez $4 million to come over to their broadcast booth, I would put that at plus 190. I don't think that's out of the consideration here because Hernandez is as big a part as Mets lore as anything, and that announced team. Could we see that, Joe House, where you start signing beloved announcers away from teams?
Just out of spite?
Sure. Whatever.
I mean, I love it.
You can.
We are going to talk about some rivalries here coming up. The Mets and the Dodgers aren't really rivals, though, are they?
No, I don't know. I think the Dodgers are just I would think it would be more of a statement of we're doing this because we can. And he's pretty good.
Yeah, so this is billionaire on billionaire crime. And honestly, I'm having a hard time having sympathy for the Mets because like what was keeping them from signing Diaz?
That's why I'm.
Well, they already signed Devin Williams. They're good. They got their closer.
And they did.
He was
say
so
that
great
that
last year.
They said that was a consideration in terms of not following up on Diaz because that was. I get thanking the guy. He gave up one of the great Mets home runs of all time with Pete Alonso, who will also be gone probably this time next week. But anyway, all right, let's move on to less depressing stuff. Football Thursday night. Bucs home against the Falcons. 4.5 is the number. 44.5 is the total. Tampa Bay crushed my betting spirit last week, guys. Teasers. They couldn't beat the cruddy Saints. The Falcons, they were off last week. They played week one. Bucs won at 23-20. Since then, Tampa's lost 5 of 7. They're a 4.5-point favorite. Well, not since then, but they've lost 5 of the last 7. They're a favorite firmly in the Vegas zone. House, how you playing this game?
Did you say that the Falcons were off last week?
Weren't they? They were not?
Well, I mean, they played a first
they might
half
as well have been.
that was very competitive against Seattle. Right. And honestly, the entire sort of betting market, it was one of the more interesting lines last week because Seattle opened well above a touchdown. And by the time the game started, it was under 7. There was a lot of enthusiasm for Atlanta. And that thesis played out in the first half. They were pressuring Darnold. Then immediately the Falcons falconed on the kickoff of the second half. And return touchdown, and it was all downhill from there. You know, the Raheem Morris exit tour just has so many layers to it. But I am playing a little combination here. This is a absolute must-win for Tampa. I think they handle their business, taking them in a money line parlay with under 24.5, which is their team total.
Wow.
That pays plus 238.
Threading the needle.
Well,
the needle of needles.
Yeah, this is one of those division rivalry games. The first game between these teams was 23-20. Tampa's only gone over 24 points team total 5 times this season, 5 out of 13. So I just think that this is one where if Mike Evans is back, and it seems like he's going to be back, they'll be able to go ahead and get into some of their long offensive drives. There won't be enough possessions. Now, Atlanta might aid this cause. Who knows what Kirk Cousins ends up doing? It seems like Drake London's not going to play. At least that's what the Atlanta beat writers say. So don't think he's going to be throwing the ball. They have to control the ball on the ground. I don't think there's going to be enough opportunities for Tampa to score 25 or more, again, unless Atlanta feeds it to them.
So you have Tampa to win the game, but
Yeah.
for them to score fewer than 25 points, and that
Correct.
pays plus 238. So let me ask you, from a rooting interest,
Yeah, how
they
do you
go
root for this
down.
one?
They score a touchdown with 13-10 left. You're kind of pissed.
They could easily win this game 24-0. Like, what is there to point towards with Atlanta?
No, I'm saying you don't want that's too many points early, right? Under my scenario.
Well, sure, but I just think it's going to be little bit of a long ball control kind of thing. I think
Right.
Tampa is like trending, notwithstanding what we saw out of them against the Saints last week.
All right, Dabbundo. Now, House says this is a must-win for Tampa. I agree. I also thought last week was a must-win. Like, my God, circle this on the calendar. This is home against the Saints, the rookie quarterback
shucked.
on the road. They got shucked big time, and you're buying it. You don't think it's just Tyler Shuck. You think Kirk Cousins could do the same.
I would say that I would not expect Kirk Cousins to run for 2 touchdowns, but
Right.
Phil Rivers might start a game this weekend, so who am I to count out statistical improbabilities? But I like Atlanta here, 4.5. I mean, I think ultimately we have seen Atlanta all year. Majority of their games have been decided by like 3 or 4 points, and they often come down to stupid plays one way or the other. They either get walked off, which we've seen time and time again. They got walked off in Indy, got walked off by the Jets. They missed an extra point against the Patriots. But, I mean, what has Tampa done really in the last 2 months to warrant this price? Steven Ruiz is taking victory laps on Sal every day
it's
as
terrible.
we speak.
That's
We should
true.
have had him on the pod today to talk about Baker Mayfield, because since week 5, since he was crowned week 5 MVP, Baker's been one of the least efficient quarterbacks in the league. So I don't really trust their offense to be consistent. Even if Mike Evans does come back, it's still relying on a lot of big plays. And look, the Falcons defense is up and down, but they do get pressure. And we have seen pressure rattle Baker Mayfield into mistakes all year, especially the last 2 months. I think it could be a dicey game for them. Like, you go back and watch that first game, it was pretty even. I don't think there's a huge gap between these two teams. So I'm taking Atlanta with the 4.5 and hoping to get another, close win for Tampa Bay for people who have futures.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. My favorite thing about this game, though, Dabbundo, is that it is Thursday and therefore outside of our scope of Ringer 107, because you definitely would have forced us to take the Falcons at this point. But we can't, because it's a Thursday
We avoided
night
them
game.
last week.
I mean, I've said it. The Falcons games, that is absolutely what you need to do. You just have to avoid them. Don't make eye contact. You guys Wire fans? You watch
Yes.
The Wire?
Yes,
Omar Little?
of
Favorite
course.
show ever.
That's right.
If you're walking through the courtyard and you see Omar Little, you don't make eye contact, right? That's what Falcons games are. You walk past them in the park. You look the other way. You ignore them and hope for no problems. That's the Falcons. Unfortunately, for this exercise, we have to make eye contact because we're picking the game. I am going to lay the 4.5. I know everyone's questionable on that line. Wirfs and Bredesen, the line looked bad. They couldn't convert 4th and 1. If they tried 20 times last week against the Saints. Not an advantage at quarterback, I would say, though. Cousins QBR of 33 and 18 the last 2 games. He's no Drake London, I don't think, House. He's not going to be able to scramble like Tyler Shuck. Tyler, what the shuck did you do to my money? I have to think Baker has something left, something. Big number. Anything over 0 is a big number to lay for the Tampa Bay Bucs here. But I'm going against the Omar Little Falcons. It's going to run their record to 2-6 on the road. 26-17 final. Go Bucs. All right. House, I think you were the only one to win last week, right? I'm not sure. Is that how it went?
Javonte Williams got the over 65.5 with half a yard. I
That
think
was
he
a
ended
nice
up with
prop.
66 or 67.
That was a
Yeah.
good job. Actually, you won too, Dabbundo. Bijan Lamb had a over 26-yard reception for his short time in that game. But this is a different week. House, hit us. You're anti-Kirk Cousins, or maybe not so much here. Depends how you look at it.
Yeah, it fits my game script that supports the idea of the Tampa moneyline parlay and the Tampa team total under. It is Kirk Cousins under 31.5 pass attempts, and it's juiced a little bit. You got to lay, I think, like -130 or so on the FanDuel Sportsbook. But the thesis is no Drake London. The Falcons have to protect Cousins, and the way to do that is to run the ball. The only way for them to convert third downs is with short passes. So I think it's like first down run, second down run, maybe short pass, third down, probably punt. So I don't think that they're going to have enough possessions, especially if Tampa, with Mike Evans back and Bucky Irving and the kid from Syracuse, if they really do get rolling a little bit on offense and have a couple long drives, don't think Cousins is going to have the opportunity, nor is it in the game plan.
All right. I'd be okay with that, I think. Dabbundo, Bijan, this seems like a big number. Receiving yards, 36.5. You're going over.
I am, and we've seen that since London has been out, they've leaned even more on Bijan Robinson, using the two running back sets, splitting him out as a receiver at times. You mentioned it, House. I think this is a good point, that it's really hard to run on Tampa, so they're going to rely on the short passing game to try to avoid running straight into the heart of Vita Vea and this excellent Bucs run defense that's traditionally been very good. So I think you're going to see them throwing the ball in the flats, getting him out in space as much as possible, protecting Kirk Cousins. And we also know the Bucs like to blitz, and one of the best ways to beat a blitz, you only need like one big screen or one big dump off to Bijan Robinson to get over this number. So I think he's just so explosive. He's clearly their best player, and they're going to look to get the ball to him even more than they normally do. So over 36.5 on Robinson receiving yards for me.
All right. I'm looking at this last Thursday's game. I had Pickens 2+ touchdowns. I kind of feel like I should be paid out on that. He didn't have any, but he had 2 that he should have.
He should have had him. Yeah.
I'm counting that like you run your routes and everything, right, House? Well, like that's what I'm like counting on. Like, yeah, he's going to run his routes. He's not going to give up on stuff like that. So, FanDuel, you could pay me out. You don't have to, but it would be the right thing to do. I did the right thing last week. I took Bucky Irving on the pregame show to score a touchdown. Took a nice little screen pass and launched himself down the field into the end zone. Made me happy for like 10 seconds before the Bucs eventually blew the game, destroyed my teasers and my kids' secondary education plans. Anyway, that's an MP, not a YP. Buck the Duck to score. He scored against Atlanta in week 1. He has 3 games in a row with a touchdown. Make it 4. You get plus 120 on the return for Bucky Irving to score a touchdown. I know we talked about this Ringer 107, but I can't gloat enough, Dabbundo, especially because this is probably the last week for gloating. So we were 4-1. House, you and Simmons were 2-3, and we're both 33 and 37. Would you have taken that in August? Would you have signed off on that, House? 33 and 37.
No. It's 4 games under 500 at this stage. It's a tiny bit disappointing. I will though gladly take my wise wager record. And I think is it a 3-way?
Let's talk about this. Top? No, Raheem has a half a game on us because he pushed on something.
Okay.
So I think Dabbundo. We'll include you in a second. Don't worry about it. I know you're the closer. You're the Edwin Diaz here. But what are we, House? Are you 9-5?
I'm 9-5. Yeah.
You and I are 9-5. Raheem is 9-4-1, I believe.
Okay.
JJ is out of the conversation. Sorry, but yeah, this is what we should be reporting here. And what are you, Dabbundo? You also 9-5 or 8-5?
9-4.
9-4. Yeah, you missed a week. So that's what I mean. Like you come in, you can miss a week. You don't have to.
9-4.
Just take the Texans every week. I don't know. Anyway, that is what anyone should be. Look, we do what? 5 hours of programming, Ringer gambling during the week.
That's right. Yeah.
Just tune in to the Ringer pregame show. That's where you're going to make your most money. Or maybe, God forbid, we have a graphic with.
I mean, you just described where that group is 36 and 18. That's pretty goddamn good.
Is that with JJ? Because he could.
No. We don't.
Okay. Yeah, 36 and 8. That quartet. You're right. All right.
Yeah,
so do that.
Right. The 4 of us.
Ringer pregame show 11-1 on YouTube and the FanDuel Sports Network. Check it out. Check us out when we come back on the other side of the break. We have college football. We're going to hit that top 12 there. NBA. Got lots going on here. We'll be back. Ringer Gambling Show when we return. The Ringer Gambling Show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel's putting you in control right from tip-off. That's right, you get to choose your reward. Play it safe, go for it, feeling bold. That's your move. Whatever your style, you're in control. No matter how you play, FanDuel's giving you the power to choose your reward and own your game this NBA season. Take it from Joe House. He's got some winners all over the place. Hey, head to FanDuel.com/gamblers to make your pick. Get in the game and play it your way. You have to be 21 and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in is required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. It's Cousin Sal, it's Joe House, it's Anthony Dabbundo, Tony Tokens, as most people know him. Let's talk college football here. They revealed the bracket. They're going to do this. Despite all the crying from Notre Dame fans, they're going to go forward with this and actually have a playoff and try to come up with a champ. Ohio State is favored to be the champ at plus 220. Indiana plus 290. Georgia plus 550. Oregon plus 750. Just looking at those, a little weird that Ohio State, the 2 seed, is favored over the 1 seed Indiana. Dabbundo, that would be, they don't have a line on that, but would that be like a 3-point spread despite Ohio State having lost to them last week?
Well, close 3.5. I'd imagine it reopens 2.5, 3. If it gets to 2.5, I think there would be an avalanche of Ohio State money. And also, Indiana's going to have the tougher quarterfinal based on how this worked out. So yeah. Ohio State getting potentially an easier game in that first, the first quarterfinal would help their odds in terms of winning the whole thing as well.
This is kind of what happened with Oregon last year, right? They ran a table, they got the one, they got the bye, and then they had to go up against a juggernaut team who had won at home. This is kind of what they're looking to do this year. They're a 5 seed. They get a nice break against JMU. That'll be a crushing. And then Texas Tech, who could be tough. But anyway, as you said, that's a rough matchup for Indiana to take the winner of that. House, anything jump out to you with this bracket or any of the crying you want to address? What do you see here?
Well, I mean, very briefly on the crying, like the corrupt, craven, grifter college football decision makers grifted somebody. I can't believe it. It's really stunning. And only this group of completely co-opted money grabbers could invent a playoff system that permits 2 teams that nobody associates with college football in any way, shape, or form, in the form of Tulane. Like, hey, we're going to have a playoff for the national championship. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, we're going to have 12 teams. Okay, great. The 12 best teams. That sounds really fun. Let's see it. Well, we came up with this system that, you call your cousin's uncle on a Tuesday, and then you do a ranking on a Thursday, and then we have 2 teams that nobody's ever heard of and don't associate with college football. They're in, okay?
And we're celebrating it too. James Madison, they deserve it. Look at this. Yes, no, Duke's got to be out. James Madison is in. Like, we lose track of what's stupid.
Duke lost 5 games. Wait a second.
I'm just saying, like, whatever. Neither of these teams is a top 12 ranked team, right? So
right.
House is right. Whatever. A lot of the problems go away. You would have Miami, you would have Notre Dame, you would have Alabama in if 11 and 12 weren't designated ahead of time by the Tulanes and the James Madison. But that doesn't solve all the problems for sure. There's no way everyone's going to be happy. Dabbundo, tell us what you would do to change things.
Well, the biggest problem right now, and the reason they're doing this whole delicate tightrope song and dance, is because we all know deep down that if we took the actual 12 best teams, it would just be like the SEC teams, the Big Ten teams, and 1 or 2 from the Big 12 or the ACC. And then the question would be, okay, that would just further encourage the SEC and the Big Ten to continue to pillage the rest of the sport. There's no reason. What are the group of 5 playing for? Why are they even D1 FBS if they have no chance? What are the Big 12 schools, the ACC schools that are getting shut out of these invitations worth? Why are they in these leagues if these leagues can't even get a benefit from it? And so the SEC and the Big 10 are like, well, we are going to take over the sport very slowly, but we're going to do it in a way that doesn't make it super obvious what we're doing, because we want to give these teams like, yeah, we'll give you JMU in the playoff. You're a 20-point dog in the first round. Yeah, Tulane's in the playoff. They're a 17-point dog in the first round. How would I fix it? I'm more of a complaint about the problem.
6 or 7 minutes ago. Yeah. Well,
I would shrink the playoff. I would go back to 8 teams.
You go back to 8. Okay.
Yep.
And so then your beloved Tulane and JMU can't get in. And I mean, you think shrinking it to 8 teams does anything but concentrate on SEC and Big Ten more? 6 of the 8 teams are those guys.
Yes, but it still makes it important when these games happen late in the season and you're actually playing for something. Like these Ohio State types, these Indiana types, they're almost too big to fail, where it's like, yeah, you can lose a game, lose 2 games, doesn't even matter. You have like 7 free wins in your schedule and you're kind of like grandfathered in, and then you're playing on conference championship weekend and Bama can get blown out and it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, all right. House, do you have something better than that? The bar is very low, by the way. Sorry, Dabbundo, but do you have something better than
I saw Rick Neuheisel. I think he was on Dan Patrick's show, and I liked both of his suggestions. He said, in the first place, we should take the bowl games and put them at the beginning of the season so that the kids actually play. If we insist on maintaining this again, craven, corrupt, like bowls are a thing associated with college football, there's no incentive whatsoever for any kid that has any aspiration whatsoever playing in the pros. But take them and put them at the beginning, and that's your celebration. That's your welcome to college football. That's pretty cool. I like that idea. And after that, if the matchups are good, and some worthy teams lose in the first couple weeks, that's fine because they have the whole season to come back. The other thing is I would expand the playoff. I mean, I would put it all the way up to 24 teams. Give 8 teams a bye at the beginning. Give Dabbundo's 8 what they need. Playoff football is fucking great. Oh, I cursed. I'm sorry. Playoff football is effing great.
Now we know it gets under House's skin. It's college football playoffs. Who knew? He's not known for this.
It's not under my skin. It's over my head. I love it so much. These lines are tremendous. The games are awesome. Going and playing college football play on the campuses in December, it's phenomenal. I love it. More college football playoff.
All right, here's what I'll say. I think it's a combination. Well, one of you has to be right. We go down to 8 or do we go down to 24? Let's do 16. It doesn't matter what I say. I think they're almost definitely going to 16 next year, which would mean that the Alabamas and the Miamis and the Notre Dames would be in, no question about it. But we have to take the politics out of this. It's too much. ESPN is running this, and they're ranking these people, and Notre Dame signed this form that says they could get in if they're like, what the hell is that? Like, you could sign a form? Get me this form. Okay, I'll sign it. How about this, House? A computerized, better version of Ken Palm, where we could figure it. I mean, we can make videos.
That's disrespectful to Ken Palm. Ken Palm's pretty good.
Oh, is it good? All right.
I think it is.
Tate says it's not great. So
what's the other one? There's Sagarin. Isn't Sagarin good?
I just feel like at this day and age, we make videos where Mr. Rogers and Tupac are smoking pot, and you can't tell if it's realistic as us speaking to each other right now. So load up this ranking system, this computerized system with all the things we care about, Dabbundo, head-to-head, conference strength of schedule, top 10 wins. See what it spits out, and that's your top 12. And then you don't have the finger pointing like, oh, we got screwed here. It's like, no, these are the numbers. This is what you have to do. Who argues with that, Dabbundo? Why?
Well,
why does it have to be so political?
I'm a numbers guy, but any system you come up with has an inherent flaw because you have to build the system. What are you putting in it? Because, like, for
everything
example,
I just said that people like, that everything that everybody screams about.
Ken Palm is a great metric, and it's a predictive, forward-looking metric. Some people would argue that like playoff spots should be determined by what you've actually done, not what you'd be forecasted to do in the actual playoff. So people would push back against that and say, well, if you think that this is the best strategy going forward, that's fine, but we're not trying to say what we think the teams will do in the next 2 weeks. We're trying to say, what have they done to earn it? Like if a team loses a bunch of games by 1 point, a computer model is going to like them more than like a team who got blown out 3 times but won a bunch of close games.
Not if you figure that into the computer model's determination. It isn't. Like, here's what I'll say. You have your 12 teams this year, right? Work backwards. What kind of factors would we put in this computerized ranking to arrive at these 12? Because we like these 12. This is a 12 we would like in, but we don't want the backlash for it. I would say, I mean, I don't know.
Notre Dame would be in the playoff. If you go by like betting market ratings, they are a top 4 team by power rankings, but they didn't beat anybody. So it's like, okay, did they deserve to be in?
Let's just figure it out. Join a conference.
Schools of thought.
Just
they should join a conference. Yeah.
Listen,
which one though? They joined the ACC. They don't even get bids anymore in the ACC. So
I mean, whatever James Madison is in seems to be the conference you should join. Okay, so let's do this. We've only given one game this week. House Army Navy minus 6.5. 37.5 is the over-under. We have to pick it. It's all they have going. What do you have? You're taking the points here, House.
Yeah, I mean, these games always, I have no idea if this is true or not, always feel like they're inside of a score as it comes down to the end of it. It's just the way it feels. I understand and appreciate the fact that Navy is 9-2, has some good wins on his schedule, but so does Army. Army actually had some pretty gosh darn good competitive outcome. They only lost by a touchdown to playoff member Tulane. They only lost by, I mean, that's one of the top 12 teams in the whole country, and they only lost by a touchdown there. I just
my
like
Ken Palm system has Army getting in over Alabama. So for what it's worth, I just don't. But go ahead. Yeah.
It's a simple handicap, and by simple I mean I'm a simpleton. I just like the idea of it less than a touchdown here.
Okay, you're going the other way, Dabbundo. Navy minus 6.5.
Yeah, I'm laying it with Navy. Way more explosive offensively. That's the main key here. Like if you go into the underlying metrics that determine how good a team is, and maybe they should be in the playoffs since they're such an explosive offense, I think they're gonna be able to pull away and hit enough big plays to separate here, similar to last year. Do think there's a gap between the two. I know that the familiarity, like House said, they usually play to the under. They usually play tight games, but I'm laying the points with Navy.
All right. I'm doing something ridiculous here. I'm going over 37.5. I mean, we're used to how many Army-Navy games, 10-7 in the fourth quarter, but it was 31-13 final last year. There were 5 touchdowns. Blake Horvath, quarterback for Navy, had a big game. He's back this year. He had 14 rushing touchdowns while taking snaps. Navy themselves averaged 36 over the last 4 wins. The Black Knights of Army allowed 50 in their last 2 games, and they have 3 defensive linemen who are out. So 31-13 last year. I'll say 31-16 this year. Army-Navy, greatest rivalry of all time. I talked about this with Simmons and Tate. Do you guys, if you have to make a Mount Rushmore, is this simple for the greatest American sports rivalry? Is it Ohio State, Michigan, UNC, Duke, Red Sox, Yankees, Lakers, Celtics? Are there any others you would kick out of there and put in, House?
Well, only in recent times. By recent times, I mean the last 10 years. You might consider Mike Tomlin against Steelers Nation. That might be
okay.
Boy, oh boy,
but that's going to go away next year. So
it
you
does
can't
seem
really,
like it.
You got to etch that in there.
Right.
Dabbundo, did I get that right? Ohio State, Michigan, UNC, Duke, Red Sox, Yankees, Lakers, Celtics? Or are you going to put the Bears, Packers in there? You would.
I'm not sure Red Sox, Yankees should be there anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
It felt like a snapshot in time where it was the most important thing and a huge rivalry, but it doesn't feel that way to the same level now.
Well, what are you going to put in there? That's the whole thing. How do you replace Jefferson? What are you doing?
We can't get Colts versus going to Jacksonville in there. I mean, that's one of the great
rivalry. You lose that.
I joked the Houston Texans versus the goal line.
Oh man, it was on my I was on the
Joel Embiid versus altitude.
All right. Okay. No, I'm going to stick with my 4 there. I don't know. Army, Navy. I know it means a lot to the players and everything. But
just
no
means
one's really
more
watching these. Yeah, that's it.
They're the only rivalry that gets their own standalone like time slot weekend.
That's true.
There is that
pageantry.
Exactly. That is helpful. They have the cannon and everything. The president sometimes shows up. All right, listen. Let's take a break. We're going to do NBA and we're going to have our plays of the day when we return. Lots going on here on the Ringer Gambling Show. Oh, wow. House, you're going to take us through this NBA Cup. It's going to be spectacular. We'll be back. 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, Ringer Gambling Show. Cousin Sal, Joe House, Anthony Dabbundo. Let's hit the NBA hard court there. Oh boy, NBA Cup action last night, House. Heat Magic, 117-108. Orlando takes it. The Heat had the lead at half, right? I think they had like a 17-0 start. It was the greatest run in NBA Cup history, they said, to start a game. They blew that. Desmond Bane with 37. Wendell Carter had a double-double in the Southeast Division. First place Magic move on to the East Cup Finals. You did not like that in our chat. You were cursing the Heat worse than you cursed last segment. You had the Heat, didn't you? You bet him last night.
I did. I had them on a tiny money line play. I just thought that they would show up. I mean, part of the thesis for this NBA Cup is meaningful basketball in December. They allowed 100 points over the remaining 3 quarters after they got out to the lead that they got out to. And their top 3 shooters went 4 for 21 from 3. I mean, Norman Powell, he wasn't just missing. Both Norman Powell and Tyler Hero had air balls in the second half. And Powell's 3-pointers were like clanks that look like me. They're the kind of clanks where I can't. It's hard for me to get the ball there, so I'm going to overcompensate by shooting it. I mean, it was awful, and the effort was the thing that really disappointed me. They never really made a serious push against the Magic, and kudos to the Magic for showing up and actually playing like there was something at stake. They're motivated enough for the extra whatever it is, $75,000 they get by making it to the semifinal.
All right, well, they're already a 4-point underdog to the New York Knickerbockers, who beat the Raptors 117-101. Brandon Ingram at 31, which wasn't enough for the Raps. Jalen Brunson put up 35. Wow, Cat 16 boards, and the Knicks are 1 game away from making it to the NBA Cup Finals. Dabbundo, you have thoughts on that? You have thoughts on the Knicks -4 on Saturday?
Well, I guess the main thing for me is, do the players like going to Vegas, right? Once you're in the semifinals, because people are like, oh, they care about the NBA Cup. There's a little more incentive on the line. I didn't get that sense for the majority of the first few rounds, but it does feel a little different once you get to actual Vegas and you're like in that spot, like in a prime time situation where you have a chance to act. Like the feeling that you could actually win this becomes more real. And ultimately, like these two offenses are just worlds apart. Like the Knicks offense, when it gets cooking, is at a much higher ceiling than Orlando. So it would be Knicks or nothing for me. Ultimately, though, I kind of feel like everybody might just be playing for second place.
I don't know. I wonder, should they play this at the Sphere House? Like, I think that would add something to it. I don't know.
How would you do it?
I don't know. You'd end up. Everyone would end up vomiting, checking it out. It would not be. Maybe it's not the best idea I've had this hour. All right, Wednesday action. Suns at OKC. I believe this is still 14.5. Did this go up? Yeah, 14.5. 225.5 is the over under. Bill Simmons says 70 games, easy. I don't see how Oklahoma City doesn't run the table for the next 3 months. They did beat the Suns by 4 a couple weeks back. Is 14.5 too high, House?
I would say yes, except for I hate to see Oklahoma City motivated. I mean, they have been playing at a certain level, and it really comes down to, if it's close at all, they just give the ball to SGA. When these two teams played, the Suns, to their credit, in the fourth quarter, had that game inside of 5 points a number of times. They had it down to a single digit, to a point or two. And then SGA just took over, and that he scored 15 points in like the last 8 minutes of that game. So I like this Suns team is absolutely going to compete, and their fortune against Oklahoma City is whether they knock down a whole bunch of threes or not. I mean, it's Royce O'Neal and Colin Gillespie. Can they knock down threes? Grayson Allen, can they all knock down threes? That's variance. So, I mean, the correct thing seems to just be to lay the points, but I like the spirited effort by the Suns.
Do you like this spirited effort, Dabbundo, of me putting a money line parlay? I didn't deal with the line. I took OKC and I took Real Madrid and Man City, double chance. One of them wins on a parlay. Do you like that spirit?
One of them wins, so no tie?
Yeah, double chance. Yeah, no tie, so no tie. So once a goal is scored, I just root for that team.
Okay.
What's wrong with
so
that?
Your thing shifts depending on the game. So if it's like 1-0, you root for the losing team. If it's 1-1, you're just hoping anybody scores.
Yeah,
but then when it's 2-1, you don't want a goal.
Someone's overmatched here. I'm not sure who. So
Okay.
that's my thing. But anyway, speaking of overmatched.
That's fun. I like Man City today, but yeah.
Spurs at the Lakers. This opened at 4.5 and now no Wemby, so it went to 7. The total went from 235.5 to 239.5. I guess he plays some defense, this Wemby character. Lakers coming off a 60-point effort from LBJ and Luka. I'm
LBJ's
really
back?
close. Yeah, LBJ. LBJ.
From
I'm
the dead?
close to calling the Anthony Davis trade in LA's favor. I'm that close. I'm this close. I think they won it. What do you think of this game, Dabbundo?
I think as a casual and somewhat neutral NBA fan, like I'm disappointed because without Wembanyama, like the magic of the cup kind of fades a little bit. Like, what am I getting excited to watch? Because when I first glanced at the sports book, I was like, that line seems kind of high, and then I went into the Google machine and I said, oh, that kind of makes sense to me now. I guess the question is, House, how much can the Spurs fade the absence of Wemby?
They have 4 perimeter shooters that shoot the 3 ball at 38% or better. And that's how they compete. Both of these teams are scoring teams. The Lakers are number 1 to the over this season. The Spurs are number 9 to the over this season. So it's up to the Spurs' ability to knock down that 3 ball. I think the way this is going to play out is the league really wants to see the Lakers in Las Vegas in the same way that it really wanted to see the Knicks in Las Vegas. You get the Lakers and the Knicks in Las Vegas. That's pretty good. So
Wemby would be lost in Las Vegas anyway. He would have no idea. He's hit his head on the entrance of the Spearmint Rhino, and that would be the end of that. Not be good. Guys, this NBA Cup is polarizing. People hate it. They love it. I was wondering what you guys would give up in exchange for NBA Cup season tickets. You get to go to any NBA Cup game for the rest of your life. Let's start with you, House. NBA Cup tickets or year's worth of cup of David Chang's Momofuku cup of noodles? What are you doing?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's always food. Like,
But you're also a big basketball fan. This is why I hit you up with this.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. You're taking the
Chang
noodles?
Are you kidding me? I love Chang noodles.
There you go, Chang.
House,
Chang
are you ever going to make the Vegas trip for the cup?
The bundle. We're in the middle of a game here, and I'm trying to. I'm about to list like a bunch of either ors, and you're asking him his travel plans for the rest
If
of
somebody
his life.
flies me out there, puts me in a hotel, and walks me into the stadium to sit down courtside, then yes. I'll
Wow.
go.
Oh, so maybe this game won't work so well. All right, the bundle. I'm going to get you back on track here. NBA Cup season tickets or Babe Ruth's game-worn cup from the 1927 World Series. What are you taking?
NBA Cup.
Really?
I am not a sports memorabilia guy in that way. Like I don't feel the sentimental value of like having somebody's jersey or cup.
Who cares about sentimental? It has actual value, wouldn't it? Like you wouldn't.
I
be able
guess
to
like
sell it for
monetary
50
value.
grand? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'm not making the best financial decision.
Okay.
I mean, but have you seen NBA Cup tickets? I mean, I spent
They're a lot.
$8 last week for Sixers Magic.
Yeah. I imagine it's different in Vegas, right? Or maybe it isn't. I don't know what it is. All right, House, NBA Cup season tickets, or you get to take the Ryder Cup to work with you every day for a year.
Well, I mean that the Ryder Cup belongs to Europe, so
Sure.
and it's been that way, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Until you accept it here.
Do I get a
Under
trip?
these
Do I get a
conditions.
trip to Europe for it? If I get a trip to Europe out of it, then that's easy. Yeah.
No, they'll meet you in New York. There'll be a drop off
I
at
do like New
JFK
York.
Airport. I think
Especially
that's
if
how
I
it's
get to
working.
go to Momofuku. If I go to
Right.
Momofuku to get the thing, then that's what
Yeah,
I
you're
would
waiting there with your cup of noodles. You're eating it, and someone presents you with the Ryder Cup, and that's it.
Done. Done.
All right, Dabbundo, NBA Cup or Army Navy tickets for life?
I went one time to Army Navy. It was cold, man. It was cold. And the game was actually not fun at all. Like I know we get all excited about it, the pageantry, the rivalry, all the outside stuff that contributes to it, the pregame rituals, but the game itself is quite bad. Like it's just a lot of running and triple options, and it's often like 13-10 deep
No
in the fourth
kidding.
quarter. So
Of
I'm going to
course.
say it's a one and done for me on the Cup, on the Army Navy. I'm going back to the Cup. I might just be the biggest Cup fan on this podcast.
I think you are. I don't know that we
like
learned anything. We learned that people, you two kind of like the Cup. You don't like anything that's touched Babe Ruth's genitalia. I'm going to have to reevaluate some of these questions here. I'm going to do that during the commercial break. When we're back, we will have best bets for you for Wednesday. Yeah, 3 of us. How did we do? I think we went 1 and 2 last week, but we'll do better. I promise. On the other side of this break, we'll be back. Ringer Gambling Show. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. Ringer Gambling Show. Cousin Sal, Joe House, Anthony Dabbundo. Yeah, we decided over the break, Oklahoma City -130 to win the NBA Cup is the way to go. That's it. Well, all that for nothing, House. That's it, right? Who are they going to lose to? They're going to blow it to the Knicks on Tuesday? No, not happening. But let's do our best bets.
First team to do the double.
Do it, Dabbundo. Best bet for Wednesday. What do you have here? You're going to give us some soccer action. You lost with Alabama last week. That was a tough one. They won, but didn't cover. And you don't get to
took an early victory lap. I think we talked on the phone in the first half, and I was like, "Oh wow, Bama's up 20. Look at us, great job by us."
Fun.
And then they blew the lead immediately. I like Manchester
City's
City.
not going to be up by 20, but go ahead. Tell us.
It'd be good for your bet too. I like Man City to beat Real Madrid today. No Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid, and really think that they're in a weird spot right now as a team. Man City have found some form, mainly because they've inserted Ryan Cherky into the lineup. He's been one of the best chance creators in all of Europe for the last 3 years, and now he's taking that form right to Man City. As far as Real Madrid goes, a couple defenders out, like I said, Mbappe out, and they're tactically just a little bit undercooked at the moment. So give me City on the road to win +130.
Joe House, Lakers, Spurs. This is an NBA Cup under 238.5. You changed this like 90 seconds before we went on air.
Well, it's getting steamed. It was 235.5 and climbed up to 238.5, and now it's at 239.5 in the FanDuel Sportsbook. Big part of this to me is if the Lakers show any kind of commitment defense-wise, then this is going to come in way under. And the Spurs need to knock down every one of their threes for this to go over. So I like the under.
How about this? Houston Cougars -40.5 over Jackson State. That's mine. I gave out Houston -31.5. They won by 35 a couple weeks ago. I'm laying another monster. Jackson State 349th in the country. That is not a joke. Check the men's net rankings. They lost by 36 to Louisville, 46 to Auburn, 53 to Arkansas, 40.5. The Emmanuel Sharp-led Cougs are getting a break here. Kelvin Sampson's boys roll 90-44. That's it for Ringer Gambling Show. Let's do it. Check us out on the pregame show on Sunday. For Joe House, for Anthony Dabbundo, I'm Cousin Sal, saying so long, and may your parlays be prosperous. Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York